Hodl, hodl, hodl. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. This is Ugly Old Goat. Hey guys, I'm doing this show. I'm going to be doing it every day about this time, about 1 o'clock. We'll get on for about 30 minutes. I have been specifically asked to do an analysis of gold. I want to kind of give you guys the value of what I call my Telegram group. If you're a member, you're in Ugly Old Goat's Trading Lounge, and one of our members found that they said, "Hey man, you need to outline gold. You haven't done it in a long time," and I agree. And of course, these guys are top notch, and they sent this tweet, and this is very significant, guys. And I think we need. I'll be looking at it, but mainly I wanted to show you what you get if you go through the boot camp, because if you go through the boot camp, you automatically become a Ugly Old Goat lifetime member. And this is a group of successful traders that have adopted the theory of equity trading, and that everything centered, our trading is emphasized on that. Oh, we develop our technical and fundamental skills. That's why I'll be talking about gold. But it's all surrounded and wrapped around equity trading, being accountable to oneself, to other people, and of course to the Lord. So I just want to point that out. And now let's go take a look at gold. What? Close? No, the next one. That one. Okay. All right. So here we are at Bitcoin, guys. And again, I have outlined, yesterday we went on and outlined that we took out the 2-week high, which kind of changes everything. I've been bearish, and I actually thought that for us to have a really good, healthy down market, we needed to break through this year's lows at under 40,000. I would say that's probably very unlikely now, and we've turned the trend here, and you probably want to be looking to buy Bitcoin on any dip. So that scenario where I was bearish up in here when we're over 70,000, the fact that we have reversed, I think, is significant. We're close enough to the seasonal. Again, yesterday, if you look at that outline, we went and examined the seasonal trades of Bitcoin. It tends to have a bottom in the August to September period, so this is a little bit early. Also, what happens too is if you have a contra-seasonal move, in other words, if you don't make a low in August or September, it is very possible that you have an extreme opposite, that it instead of having that low, you have a tremendous move up. And we are setting up that this is a very real possibility. So hopefully, if you don't have your hodl, this is a good time to really be adding to it on Bitcoin. I'm going to keep it at that for Bitcoin, because my focus is not going to be on Bitcoin, but it is going to be on gold. Now, I've written a lot about gold, and here's one of the articles. We're going to make sure you put this on the credits, but basically the title of this is "Gold is Viable Bitcoin Competition," and I outline why that is. Guys, I'm for sound money. Gold is also sound money, and I get really kind of disappointed with people that they don't understand the value of each one. I think we're just now beginning to learn it. And again, I deeply respect both Michael Saylor and Peter Schiff, but it's not a us versus them situation. I would love to have a situation where we have sound money competing with each other. Saifedean and Ammous, in his book, The Bitcoin Standard, really outlined that the only viable competition to Bitcoin is the gold standard. And my personal belief is that we will be forced, and I think it will happen probably during the coming 4 Trump years, that we will resurrect a gold standard on a national level. Gold is a great money for national borders, and I'm not saying that we got some really big problems ahead, but let's go look again, you want to check out the fundamentals. I've written about these fundamentals in numerous articles. This is just one of them that I looked up, but I've written a lot of why gold is viable competition to Bitcoin. And it's really a side-by-side. And I think that gold is made for governments and Bitcoin is made for the individuals. I really think the sooner we can learn that, the better off we're going to be. So let's go look at this gold chart, because I've been preached this for a long, long time. This is a long-term chart. If you look, this is the monthly chart. We have a huge head and shoulders here. I'm not head and shoulders, cup and handle. We have a decade, over a decade, actually 12 years, where we have this huge cup. Now we have this handle that went on for 2 years, and now we're headed up. Now back in the late 70s and early 80s, we had a lot of gold bugs were predicting $3,000 and $6,000 gold back then. Well, it never happened. It went up to about $685, spiked up there one day, and then went back down to, I don't know, $200 or something like that. But anyway, we are in a super bullish cycle now, particularly for gold, and I'm sure Bitcoin. Yeah, if you're going to hit that $1 million Bitcoin, it's probably going to be in the next few years. But that also means I have seen, I think that we could very easily have $15,000 or $20,000 gold. I think 3,000 is will probably happen rather quickly, and we might have some. A few breaks around 6,000, but to have I think a 10x move from gold down here from when it was at 17, 1800, that puts gold at 17 to 18,000, and I think that's a very realistic expectation. I think one of the fundamentals that has kicked this off, and you'll see that I don't think it was the assassination attempt that rallied this thing as so much as what's in store for us, and I think the selection of J.D. Vance is probably one of the things that is going to touch this off. First of all, let's look at his investments. Okay, basically. He's got a bunch of stocks, but he's also into Bitcoin, and he's also got gold. And so this is, he's going to have that bias. Now, the other thing that you need to look at is this tweet that was found. He is really in favor of devaluating the dollar. Well, I don't think he can help, but it's going to be devaluated. But at least he is looking at it from the point of view that it really means that American exports will become cheaper, and that's more important. And he says, if you want to employ a lot of people, this is what we have to do. Well, I'm not in agreement with this at all, but I think it's manipulating the markets to their advantage, but people in power, that's what they do. We've done that before, and just because you have a lot of employment, just because, particularly if they put on trade barriers like tariffs, it really, you might have the workers, but it doesn't help the quality of the product. And one of the things that Reagan did is he did make he took off the tariffs, and we had free trade between nations. And our car manufacturing back there in the late 70s was just so awful. The quality was so bad that even though there was high tariffs on Japanese cars, the Japanese cars is what sold because they made quality cars. So I think that the economic problems that we have is far more than just making our imports cheap. We need to make products that are better. And I'm afraid that we're a long way from that, and now it's basically a societal thing, particularly with the generation that we have now of virtual everything, because the problem is, you don't have virtual plumbing. Either your toilet flushes or it doesn't. You don't have virtual cars. Either you have a car that runs or it doesn't. And you know, the advances that we've made in some of the technology since we freed up the international market. You have an international competition between some of these major businesses. The problem that you have with protectionist economy is, yes, you might improve your local economy to a degree, but then you're foregoing the quality and the competition that's available in the world. So it's a double-edged sword, but I think it's important to understand that this is where we are going, that this will be public policy. This is a major shift. Once this occurs too, once they have this devaluation in progress, it will feed upon itself. And in order to maintain a dollar, in order to or reestablish the dollar, we're going to have to go back to a gold standard. And the first nation that does it is going to be, I think, the one that's going to hit a home run. And I think I think if you know, hopefully the United States will do that, and it's a viable competition to Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin is not really suitable as a universal world currency, and I don't know why you would even want governments involved in it, because its primary asset is it's unconfiscatable. That's the one asset that can't be easily taken from you. Gold does not. What is that? Oh, the principle that I can't remember the value thing on gold. I can't remember the name, but I'm getting to be like Biden. But at any rate, Bitcoin's in a class of its own because it has a fixed supply. It doesn't have that flexible supply. The reason that gold is valuable is that the new yearly production is only a small part of the total amount of gold, but it's still, the production is affected by the price, and you will see this. I run up to 18, $15,000 to $30,000, and I think that's kind of the range. Will reestablish gold as money, and most likely at that time the dollar will be such trash that in order to get some kind of stability back in the markets, that overnight the United States government or the powers that be will reinstitute gold because it is sound money. And basically what we did is we nationalized the gold standard back when we created the Federal Reserve. And of course, at the time that we did that, we also started taxing labor. No man's labor should be taxed. If you want to start an anti-communist international movement, that's what we should be doing. It should be an international cry in every nation of the world that no man's labor should be taxed. Instead, we're just the opposite. We're paying people to not work. We're bringing people into the country that are getting our social services basically for free because we've socialized them. But I wanted to cover this because I see that we are at the very beginning stage of a massive movement in gold, and probably it'll also be reflected in the Bitcoin price. And it's a long way from being confirmed yet in Bitcoin, but the gold here and now, I think, is the leading indicator. Now, this is your monthly chart. If you look at this, you had this monthly 9, but it almost just completely ignored it. If you go to a weekly level, you can kind of see it here. There's a big resistance up here at that blue line. If you go to daily, let's go look at the daily. You can kind of see we're hitting contract highs. And guys, you don't want to be selling into a market that's making contract highs. You just don't want to be. Bitcoin is not doing that yet. Again, I'm not. I'm a big believer in Bitcoin, but we have a long way to go to understand what Bitcoin is really all about. I think that as far as a usable a standard must be a usable currency and not just a store value. It does have to be a means of trade, a way that people are evaluating things in their head. And I think that as much as what we've tried to do it in Bitcoin, this just doesn't have a stock to flow ratio. Gold has the lowest stock to flow ratio. There is no stock to flow ratio in Bitcoin. I'm sorry. They want to promote that there is one, but there isn't. It's a fixed amount. So there's no stock to flow. There's just a fixed amount of Bitcoin. It's 20 million, 22 million, but that amount is going to do nothing but be diminished. We've lost a lot of Bitcoin, lost in wallets forever. We're not going to create any more, and we have a sound banking system that developed from gold because it does have a stock to flow ratio. It's not perfect, but the idea of the gold standard competing with the Bitcoin standard in the long run is very, very healthy. And I think the short-term concerns that we have to have is that the morality has to change before we're going to see any kind of long-term prosperity. There's going to be some very violent changes that may not necessarily be good in the short run, but should be fantastic for the long run. And so what I'm saying is there's probably a very dark time ahead in the next, and it could be more than a few years. It could be a decade, and there may be I mean, the Armageddon days may be just ahead, and I don't want to, we don't know, and the Lord knows that, and none of us do. But the thing is, I think you have to have it in your own head that we're going to live in some very trying times, and it's very important the relationships that you build right now. All right, so I'm done. I just wanted to make that comparison again. The idea that we're going to see, we're going to have an administration that will deliberately, and not deliberately, it's already in the cards, they can't do anything else, but they see that inflating that dollar, and it's already inflated, it's just a matter of kind of letting it go and find the equilibrium, and it will overshoot its mark. Gold will get overpriced. And it's not overpriced now, not even near so. It's been held down artificially, I think, for a long time, and it's going to seek its own level. And when that occurs, once you're back on a sound money system, then all the priorities change because the speculation ends and the appreciation of real wealth, the appreciation of real wealth creation and quality items reemerges. I mean, it's in general in a widespread area. There's still going to be corruption. There's still going to be, bankruptcies. There's still going to be all the things that happen. But it's going to be much more of a stable and growing influence. The Gilded Age grew up and nobody realized what was happening till after it happened, basically. And the gold standard was not something that was deliberately put into place by a central government. It actually did emerge from the marketplace. And that's what we're going to be seeing now. This is why this is such a healthy thing in the long run. If we can reestablish sound money in our country, and the way they got to get rid of the debt, the way they're going to get rid of it is they're going to inflate it, and then they're going to peg it. And they're going to have to peg it to something real, and the most real thing that has the longest history is gold. So again, Bitcoin has its use, but so does gold. Gold is much more useful by governments within their borders, whereas gold, just because you're on a gold standard doesn't mean that you might not be persecuted by the powers that be. And so Bitcoin is basically your escape money, and it's the one thing. They can take your property, they can close your bank account, but as long as you have the keys to that Bitcoin, you still have a modicum of wealth. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope you see what I'm trying to show people now. Hey, if you want to support me, I'm kind of back in the driver's seat. I've had a tough year this last year, but we're going to be doing this show every day at this time. And if you want to support me, the best way to do it is, I don't know, there we go. Okay. Go to the boot camp. Okay, I'm writing week 6 now. I've been doing the outline. I've got one student. I got Hurley, who's been just really dynamite for me. He just happens, he's a young man that I've been able to, he's helped me, I think, more than I've been helping him. But, and I've been writing this, and I'm getting ready to do some new things. That, I'm coming to the last part of my life, and so I want to contribute what I can. But here's the boot camp. And if you want to do this, you just hit this. I want you to read this article. This article is what it's about. It's about advanced equity trading. It's you're going to see why I'm doing it and what it is. Basically what it's doing, I've always said that the most important thing is money management. That money management trumps fundamentals, it trumps TA, and almost everybody has this backwards. Everybody looks at TA and then maybe the fundamentals. Now the last thing they look at is money management, and I've always said, hey, money management is the number one thing you need to look at. You need to trade your equity and not the markets. And now the last thing, because a lesson that I've learned this last year is you also have to be accountable. And so that's what this is about. This is about, and I'm doing this as I'm learning. And again, one of the best ways I've learned to do this is I publish all my trades, and I publish it on the Trading Lounge. And once you go through the boot camp in week 5, we'll let you get on the Trading Lounge with other traders, and you be accountable and it's a great group. Most of them are very successful traders. They're all are putting the money management techniques into practice, and they believe in the concept that money management trumps TA and fundamentals. Not that they aren't, but we talk about the fundamentals, and we talk about TA. We just talked about TA today and the fundamentals of gold. But managing your funds trumps them all, because that's the only fatal mistake you can make is when you mismanage funds. And I almost made a fatal mistake, but I think we'll pull out of it here. And that's one reason I'm doing this boot camp. So guys, if you have a hodl, this is not for everybody. If you sign up for this, you can actually hit this, read that article, and then you can schedule a call with me. I do a little survey. I don't want you to sign up for this thing unless you already have a hodl. And the week I'm working on right now is how do you hedge your hodl? What does hedging mean? Why are these markets created? Well, they're created for hedgers. And if you have a hodl, you need to learn to hedge. And you just risk a very small part of your Bitcoin, but it can literally save your panties when these markets break real hard. And a lot of the miners have learned this last year. So, at any rate, I hope you got something out of this. So also, if you're not qualified for the, how do I get back? Do this? No, I don't know. Okay, if you're not qualified for the boot camp, we do have the starter kit, and you can get this. It's like $300. We send you a bunch of stuff. It's worth it. You get both of my books autographed, and we're gonna and it's like $300. That really helps us too, because all the stuff that I do is there on the website. It's not organized in the best way. Sometimes I have a hard time finding it, but I've written a lot of articles on gold and why gold is viable competition to Bitcoin, and also why a gold standard competing with a Bitcoin standard. I mean, it's great to have sound money competing with one another, and it will both will rise to like cream after you milk the cows, because the sound money it's honest money, and that's what we need. And honest money, honesty kind of breeds honesty. Right now, we're looking at the idea that stealing is fine. Here in California, they can walk into a store and walk out with up to $900 worth of merchandise, and as long as it's not over $900, it's not even a felony. It's basically they'll let you go, and there's nothing they don't even enforce the law. So those things will change rapidly. Well, not rapidly. It's going to take it will take a generation. The next generation is going to be completely different from this generation, and it won't be because of easy times. It'll be because of the hard times that they live through. But you know what? Hard times make you strong. Look at what happened to Trump. Look at all the crap he's had to endure, and look at how he rose up and fight after getting his ear blown off. Can't help but admire anybody like that. And remember, that Israel had the same phenomena. After Joseph and his brothers went to Egypt, they were captive. Eventually, they became slaves there and captive. And after 400 years, they actually became very strong because of the oppression. It didn't make them weak, it made them stronger. And of course, stronger physically. And once they got into the wilderness, spiritually, they were very, very weak. But it is something that these things are cyclical. All right, so that's it. I have a wonderful daughter who I want her to start getting on with me, because she does all this stuff. You see all this stuff, those hats and those things. I think they're going to do a cup and a T-shirt with Trump, one of the classic Trump picture. I don't want to be violating any copyrights. I don't think we will be, but I think she'll do a top-notch quality on that. We have those Bitcoin cups, and hopefully they'll develop our website a little bit for merchandise. I do need to make this show viable, and I've kind of neglected that because I've been down for the last year, but we're getting it together. We're going to be doing this. See you tomorrow at 1. I'll be doing this Monday through Thursday, 1 o'clock every day. Today was gold. Got to think about what we're going to do tomorrow. I'm working on some new projects. I hope to share them with you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in.